Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Foreclosure Help 777, where we talk about everything foreclosure related. And this is my private Facebook group, and you can join us if you're fighting foreclosure or you need help, and we're always here to help each other. So today's topic is going to be something I think everyone will find interesting. And it is called the foreclosure chess game. And the Bible verse of the day is Proverbs 24:6, which says, "For by wise guidance you can wage your war, and in abundance of counselors there is victory." So Jesus is our wonderful counselor according to Isaiah 9:6. Christ's position as our wonderful counselor means we can trust him to listen to our problems and guide us in the right direction. We can be sure he is listening because he told us to pray to him about our worries. We can be certain that he has our best interests at heart because he loves us, and his love is so wide and deep and wonderful that we cannot fully understand it. So, good foreclosure defense is not random motion filing. Every filing should improve your position. So, it's like a chess game. So let's talk about the reasons why foreclosure defense is like a chess game. The first are opening moves. First filings matter tremendously. The opening moves would be like the complaint, service issues, deadlines, filing an answer, affirmative defenses and counterclaims, preserving objections early. You can compare this to controlling the center of a board in chess. Many homeowners lose before they ever realize the game has started. Know your opponent's strategy. How foreclosure firms often operate. Well, they have volume litigation. They have to submit affidavits, standing arguments, lost note claims, assignments, default judgments, and pressure tactics. Banks often expect borrowers not to fight back. So there are sacrifices and trade-offs, just like in a game of chess. In chess, sometimes you sacrifice a piece to gain a position. In foreclosure, spending money on filing fees, time and stress, credit damage, delaying immediate relief to preserve larger claims, choosing settlement over trial, and walking away strategically versus fighting. These are sacrifices and trade-offs, just like in chess. Every move has consequences. Okay? So here's some examples. Filing bankruptcy. It's like the equivalent of it saves your king from checkmate. Removing to federal court, using your queen to take out their bishop. Discovery, using your knight and pawns to capture their queen. Motions to compel, when a pawn reaches the other side and becomes a queen. Motions to stay, multiple pieces to protect the king. Mediation, not every game ends in checkmate. And loan modification negotiations, when both players decide to end the game. In chess, experienced players do not move pieces out of anger, fear, or panic. Every move is calculated. Every move changes the board. Foreclosure defense works the same way. Too often, homeowners react emotionally, ignoring court papers, filing random documents copied from the internet, calling the servicer in frustration, waiting too long to act, believing one magic argument will instantly end the case. But successful foreclosure defense is usually about position, leverage, timing, and forcing the other side to respond. Every filing matters. Every decision matters. Every move has consequences. So let's talk about this chess move. Filing bankruptcy, saving your king from checkmate. Okay, if you've been through long foreclosure litigation, you know that filing bankruptcy is done as a last case scenario. Sometimes bankruptcy is not surrender. Sometimes it is more the move that stops immediate defeat. A bankruptcy filing can trigger the automatic stay, stop a foreclosure sale, pause litigation, allow time to reorganize finances, force creditors into federal court oversight, create leverage for negotiation. But bankruptcy also has consequences. It has strict deadlines, payment obligations, disclosure requirements, potential loss of certain claims if not raised properly, Just like moving your king to safety in chess, bankruptcy is often defensive, but it can completely change the pace of the game. Here's another chess move. Removing the federal court is the equivalent of using your queen to take out their bishop. Federal court can dramatically change the battlefield. Sometimes removal or federal action slows the foreclosure process and increases procedural scrutiny. Often federal claims like FDCPA, RESPA, Tiller, or other civil rights violations forces the servicer to defend conduct under stricter pleading standards. But federal court is not automatically better. Federal judges often move cases quickly and may dismiss poorly pled claims without hesitation. This move must be strategic, not emotional. A powerful chess piece used recklessly can still be lost. Okay, let's talk about discovery, which is the equivalent of using your knights and pawns to capture their queen. That's right, it's that serious. Discovery is when the game changes. Discovery is where many foreclosure cases become dangerous to the other side. This is where homeowners can request evidence that supports their side, like payment histories, assignment records, servicing notes, MERS milestones, trust documents, all communications, loss mitigation records, affidavit support, ownership evidence. Sometimes the most powerful move is not dramatic. Sometimes it is forcing the other side to answer questions under oath. In chess, pawns and knights may not look powerful at first, but properly positioned, they can capture the most valuable piece on the board. The same is true in litigation. Motions to compel. When a pawn reaches the other side and becomes a queen. This is pretty big, guys. In chess, a pawn may appear small and insignificant at first, but if it survives long enough, advances carefully, and reaches the other side of the board, it can be transformed into the most powerful piece in the game. Discovery works the same way. Simple requests for documents, admissions, and interrogatories may seem routine at first, but when the other side refuses to respond honestly or completely, a motion to compel can suddenly become extremely powerful. A motion to compel may force document production, expose evasive answers, reveal contradictions, create a record for sanctions, demonstrate obstruction to the court, increase pressure for settlement. Sometimes the most important move in litigation is not flashy, it is persistence. A carefully pursued discovery dispute can transform seemingly small procedural issue into major leverage against the opposing party. And sometimes refusal to produce documents tells you more than the documents themselves. Motions to stay. It's like when multiple pieces protect the king and the other side cannot advance. In chess, there are moments when a player cannot safely move forward because multiple pieces are protecting critical positions on the board. Every possible advance creates risk. Litigation can work the same way. A motion to stay asks the court to temporarily pause proceedings while other important matters are resolved first. This may occur because a federal case is pending, bankruptcy protection was filed, appeals are ongoing, discovery disputes remain unresolved, ownership or standing issues are still being litigated elsewhere. When properly supported, a stay can place the opposing side in a difficult position. Moving forward too quickly risks inconsistent rulings, wasted judicial resources, or irreversible harm. In foreclosure defense, a stay is often about positioning and protection. It creates time. It preserves rights. It prevents permanent damage before the full board can be evaluated. And just like in chess, when multiple pieces are protected or protecting the king at the same time, the other side may find there are very few safe moves left to make. Now, mediation. Not every chess game ends in a checkmate. In chess, not every match ends with one king defeated. Sometimes the board reaches a position where neither side can realistically force victory. Sometimes only the two kings remain. Sometimes the game ends in a draw because continuing the battle no longer benefits either player. Foreclosure mediation can reach similar moments. Mediation allows both sides to step back from endless conflict and evaluate practical resolutions before more damage is done. Possible outcomes may include loan modifications that are beneficial to the homeowner, repayment agreements without hidden balloon payments or terms that are predatory, settlement terms that include principal reduction, interest rate, and more, relocation arrangements, cash for keys if you are sure it's over, waiver of deficiencies, additional transition time to move belongings or move out with dignity, dismissal or restructuring of your claims. Good negotiations understand leverage. The stronger your litigation position becomes, the more seriously the other side may consider compromise. And sometimes the wisest move is not continuing to fight at all costs. Sometimes wisdom means recognizing when preserving stability, dignity, finances, or peace is more valuable than forcing the game to continue indefinitely. Loan modification negotiations when both players decide the board is too risky to continue. It is not always an act of generosity from the servicer. Many times it is a strategic business decision. If litigation exposes missing records, standing disputes, servicing violations, costly delays, discovery problems, risk of appeal or counterclaims, the lender may determine that negotiation is safer than continuing the uncertainty of litigation. In chess, experienced players sometimes agree to draw because the position has become dangerous for both sides. Neither side is guaranteed victory, and both sides risk further loss by continuing. Foreclosure litigation can reach the same point, but homeowners must still proceed carefully. Not every proposed modification is beneficial. Some agreements may temporarily solve one problem while creating new financial risk later. Wise strategy requires understanding the entire board, not just the next move. And then there's checkmate, when the other side has no legal moves left. In chess, checkmate occurs when the king is trapped. The game is over because there are no remaining legal moves that can prevent defeat. In foreclosure litigation, true checkmate is rare, but it does happen. Sometimes a homeowner successfully proves the foreclosing party lacked standing, the assignment chain was defective, the note could not be enforced, fraud or servicing violations occurred, the statute of limitations expired, the foreclosure was improperly filed, the plaintiff cannot legally bring another action, and sometimes the result is decisive. Some examples may include summary judgment granted for homeowner and a quiet title action, foreclosure summary judgment denied when the homeowner brought up underlying disputed facts that a summary judgment cannot be granted, dismissal with prejudice, vacated judgments, expiration of statutory deadlines, permanent loss of enforcement rights. These outcomes do not usually happen because of one emotional argument or one dramatic courtroom moment. They happen because defenses were preserved, objections were raised, discovery exposed weaknesses, deadlines mattered, and strategy was executed carefully over time. In chess, checkmate rarely comes from a single move. It is usually the result of positioning the board correctly after many moves earlier. The same is true in foreclosure defense. The biggest mistake homeowners make is assuming foreclosure defense is about one perfect argument. It rarely is. Foreclosure litigation is often about a long strategic game. Timing, pressure, procedure, leverage, documentation, persistence. And just like chess, the player who stays calm and thinks ahead usually has the advantage over the player who only reacts emotionally. Okay guys, that does it for today's presentation. I hope this was informative to a lot of y'all. And if you have any questions or comments, you can leave them below. Thank you for subscribing if you have subscribed. And if you have questions about your own case, you can always send me an email to foreclosurehelp777@gmail.com, and it's spelled just like this with the number 4, and I'll be happy to answer any question free of charge, of course. And as always, everyone have a blessed day.